If you're running the wrong tyre pressure off-road, you're making it harder than it needs to be, and you're far more likely to get stuck. Lower tyre pressure doesn't make your tyres any wider, it actually makes the footprint longer. At high pressure, say around 40 psi, and a small part of the tyre is actually touching the ground. Drop that down to around 25 psi on dirt, and you start to get a longer contact patch. Then down around 18 psi on sand, and it stretches out even more, which gives you more grip and helps the car float instead of digging in. Here's what I actually run. On dirt roads and tracks, around 25 psi, it smooths things out, gives better traction, and you're not getting smashed over corrugations. It also lets the tyres conform over sharp rocks, which can help avoid damage. On sand, it's around 18 psi, and if it softens up, I'll drop lower, maybe down to 14 psi. You can actually go a little bit further. If you get stuck, don't be scared to go down as low as 10 psi. There are a few ways you can deflate tyres. The simplest is just using the bit on the back of the tyre pressure gauge to press the valve in. I actually don't mind doing it this way, it's simple and it works. It just takes a bit of time because you've got to do all 4 tyres one by one. So what I usually do is time how long it takes to drop one tyre to the pressure that I want, and then I just use that as a guide for the other 3. That way you're not constantly stopping to check the pressures. Another method is using a valve stem removal tool. It's one of the fastest ways to deflate a single tyre because you're actually winding the valve out, then winding it back in when you're done. Sometimes though, you can't get the valve to move, so you might need to crack it loose first with the valve core tool. But there are a few downsides. Valve stems aren't really designed to be removed and fitted all the time, so over time you can wear the seal. You've also got dirt and mud getting in there while it's open, which isn't ideal. And if you're not careful, it's pretty easy to lose the valve completely. That's why I always carry spare valves, no matter which method I'm using. Most tyre repair kits come with spare valves. You can also use a set of tyre deflators to deflate all 4 tyres at the same time. I started with a cheap set, but honestly they weren't great. These were hard to set properly, they weren't consistent, and the threads were pretty gritty and just didn't feel right. So you think you set your pressures, but they're all over the place. Not something I trust. If you buy a decent set though, it's a completely different story. These are the sand HEMA deflators. To set them up, just loosen the locking ring, adjust it to the pressure you want, then lock it back up. Screw them onto each tyre and they all start deflating at the same time. Once they hit your set pressure, they stop automatically. The only downside is if you change terrain, you've got to reset them, and that takes a bit of trial and error. So I just set them before I leave, then screw them on and let them go. If you're wondering why I didn't use the full set, well, I left them on the bull bar at the servo. I drove off and they got run over, and the only one that survived is the one you see in the video. So yeah, I need a new set. If you've got any recommendations, drop them in the comments, but for now it's back to the tyre gauge. However you do it, just make sure you're actually hitting the right pressures. Once you've got your tyre pressure sorted, the next big thing is driving technique, and the main one is momentum. Momentum is your friend, right up there with tyre pressures. On something like this, a bit of a run up makes a big difference. You don't need to send it, just enough to carry you through. And this is what happens if you don't. You'll lose momentum and it just runs out of drive. So as soon as you stop moving forward, get off the throttle. If you don't, you're just going to go down. The best thing you can do here is to stop and reverse out where you still can. Then line it up properly, take a cleaner run up, and it just gets up. So just remember, momentum will get you through, but wheel spin will get you stuck. If you're heading into the beach, there are a few things I consider pretty much essential. This is what I carry: recovery boards, a long handle shovel, a basic recovery kit, plenty of water, and a first aid kit. And remember, there are no toilets out here, so you might want to bring a portaloo. The long handle shovel makes a big difference. You can actually reach right under the car without having to get down in the sand. So if you're digging your tyres out or clearing under the chassis, it just makes it a lot easier. If you're planning on driving on the beach, recovery boards are a must. These are just a basic set, nothing fancy, but they do get the job done. There are definitely better ones out there if you want to spend more. I might upgrade at some point, and if I do, I'll do a proper comparison. In the recovery kit, these are some of the items that I carry. And the first item is a rated snatch strap. This one's rated to 8 tonne. Snatch straps are used to recover stuck vehicles with another vehicle. You should also carry an equalizer strap, which will help spread the load between 2 recovery points. I always carry some large and small soft shackles, and these are used to basically connect everything together. The straps to the recovery points, for example. And soft shackles basically replace the metal shackles, so they're a lot safer if something decides to break. If you have a tow bar fitted to your vehicle, it's always a good idea to have one of these recovery hitches. These go into your tow bar and it gives you a proper recovery point if you need to be pulled out backwards. And if you're going to attach recovery gear to your vehicle, make sure you're attaching them to rated recovery points. Don't use those tie down points, the metal loops that are used for transport. They're not rated for recovery loads and they'll most likely break. And also, never ever use a tow ball for recovery. They can shear off and become a projectile, so use a proper recovery point every time. This is where things didn't quite go to plan. If you saw my last video, you would have seen the compressor failing on me. I've picked a new one up and I'll run a proper test on it and get that video up in the next week or so. I've put all the gear I use in the description below, so if you want to check it out, it's all there. So that's pretty much it. Get your tyre pressures right, drive it properly and have the right gear with you, and you'll have a much better time out here.